The question is, why do you look like a seal? Good morning, guys. Thursday, the 26th of October, day 7 of my Australian daily vlogs. I actually didn't film anything yesterday because I was inside editing and the weather wasn't particularly nice. Talking of the weather, well, yep, it looks like I'm dressed for winter, and that's because it is 7 degrees this morning. Basically, my brother's coffee machine has broken. He has Ubered some coffees.
Well, what is this weather about? It's a bit chilly. Apparently it's November in a few days' time. I can't believe it.
Time to say goodbye to my brother. See you later, brother. I'll see you soon.
See you, brother.
Cheers,
Take
brother.
care.
Lots
See
of
you
love.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Probably not the most flattering of angles. Just want to say a massive thanks to my brother Jack and his lovely other half Ronnie for looking after me for the past 6 days. It's been awesome staying at their house. Oh, and the dogs as well. Been made to feel very welcome. I am now heading over to BMW Australia HQ. I'm filming an iX2 in a studio. That car's only just been revealed globally, and Nick has very kindly said that I can pop down and do a walk around video of the static cars. I've packed the car up with all my luggage because I'm actually checking into my hotel tonight, which is over near BMW Australia, which is eastern Melbourne, so a long way from my brother. I'm there for the next couple of weeks. You now join me in the Burnley Tunnel, which essentially runs under a lot of Melbourne. The speed limit in here is 80 kilometers per hour, about 50 miles an hour, which is about normal, about what it would be in the UK or much of Europe. There are these green rings that run around the outside of the tunnel, and providing you sort of stay near your green ring, if the traffic was less thick, because now we're doing a lot less than the speed limit, but providing you stay near that green hoop or ring, then you're staying near the speed limit. I'll spin this around, hopefully we can catch one going past us in a second. There we go. And unfortunately this truck is in the way, but we should get a good idea when the next one comes through around about now. There we go. Something I had forgot to mention, now remember these vlogs are 5 to 6 days delayed just due to logistics, is the fact that my Melbourne meet that is now happening in exactly a week's time sold out in less than a day, which is just incredible. We had 60 tickets. I was worried that we wouldn't get 30. I knew a few people had messaged me, which was cool, and they were keen, but I just didn't think that 60 spaces would go like that. Once again, big thanks to Melbourne BMW dealership for letting us host the event there. Big thanks to anyone else that shared it. I know M3 Touring global page, Jeremy had shared it, so massive thanks to you, mate. F90 M5 seats are just wonderful, wonderful things, and they definitely make up for the harsh ride in cars like an M5 competition, and dare I say it, cars like the XM, which is very stiffly sprung. This is on the optional 23-inch wheels, and I don't think they help. I'm actually keen to try one back home in the UK, because so far I've tried one in Austria, pre-production one, I've tried one in Arizona, and I've tried one in Australia, but I've not tried one back home in the UK on our very average roads. Yeah, Australia's roads are definitely better than the UK roads on the whole in terms of the actual quality of the tarmac. And now BMW Group Australia M4 GTS in the lobby. Always a good thing, and i8, a car well ahead of its time, really. So this is what I'm filming today, the brand new X2, although This particular model is the iX2 in fire red. There'll be a full walk around video coming to the channel soon, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Just finished filming my video. There's a lot of work that goes into even filming a studio piece like this. I'm not very good with studio lighting. I'm not sure how it's going to come out, but it should be reasonable. Nick has very kindly bought me a lovely chicken sandwich, but I've only managed to have a quick bite out of that because I've got about 2 minutes left before the next journo heads in here. I'll join you a little bit later. Just filled up the XM for the first time this trip, which isn't bad because I've had it for 6 days and I've done plenty of miles on it. I'm at a Shell petrol station and the fuel is 188.9. That translates to less than 90 pence a litre, although there is a caveat, that is 91 RON, so lower quality fuel than we get at a minimum in the UK. This car will actually run on 91 because BMW and other manufacturers adapt their cars depending on where they're being sold. But I did put 95 in it, which was just over $2, so about £1 a litre, which is still nearly half what we pay back home. Before we get to the hotel and before I forget, I just wanted to say a big thanks to everyone for the support around the daily vlogs. And I'm hopefully capturing and bringing you along for the journey, because that is what my channel has always been about. It's been about bringing everyone else along for the journey, whether it's a test drive in a car, a press launch, and trips like this. And I think I cover most of that normally on my Instagram via stories and stuff, the day-to-day stuff, but I very rarely cover that on the channel, and it's really been nice doing it and being able to share it with my YouTube audience, because I know you don't all follow me on Instagram, etc. For the week leading up to this trip, I had man flu, cold, whatever at home, which meant I couldn't get on the rower. And I've been here a week and thrown 2 days of travel and lots of extravagant food. So I think a good hour in the gym would do me some good and get back into the rhythm and routine of that. Well, that was good. Nothing beats a quick workout. As you can see, it hasn't taken me long to make a mess in the room. Just about to sit down and edit for a couple of hours before I head out and find dinner. Big shout out and thanks to Ebony from Michelin and BF Goodrich in Australia. Here's a bit of behind the scenes insight to what I do as a YouTuber. Today I filmed a fairly simple studio video. I use my GH6, which is the main camera that I use on the channel. Once I've filmed a video, let's actually choose something like the R8 GT video, which I just talked about. That was actually about 400 gigabytes of data. That's nearly half a terabyte. That is a mixture of this camera, and then I have 6 GoPros now, including the one that you're watching. Go to my laptop, and I have to put all of those memory cards. So I'm transferring sometimes 300-400 gigabyte. I think today it was only about 160, 170, because as I said, it was quite a simple video. It was just the GH6 and a couple of GoPros in the car. Then make sure you format all the memory cards, so when you put them back in the GoPros and the GH6, they're all clear and ready to go. You've also got to make sure that all the batteries are charged, and again, I carry 5 batteries for the GH6. I carry about 20-25 batteries for the GoPros. In fact, on this trip I probably only got about 15 with me. Before a shoot, I always make sure all of the batteries are topped up the night before. Then we've got mics. They are very good in battery life, in fact, but I always like to make sure they are fully charged, just in case, because you never know how long you're going to run them for. the external mic on the GH6, which I didn't use today for flybys and stuff. So many and so much logistics that goes on behind the scenes just to make sure that you are ready the next time you go out and film. You can spend hours, and I'm not exaggerating, hours putting data or taking data from memory cards onto the computer alone. That's just doing that after a big shoot, hours. And that's before you start the edit and whatever else. I thought you might find that fascinating or interesting. Not fascinating, it's hardly fascinating, is it? But it is interesting, and it's something, like I said, that most people might not think about. Obviously the phone, this is my staple. I'm on this all the time. I'm shooting things all the time with this. This is the new Pixel 8 Pro. It's literally a few days old, so the battery life is incredible on it. Been using it most of today, and actually I got back to the hotel and I had about 70%. Stop disturbing me because I need to crack on with a couple of edits. Good morning guys, Sunday the 22nd of October. Another vlog edited. I am going to head outside before it gets dark and before it's too late and go and find some dinner. It's going to be weird because I've spent the past 6 nights with company. Tonight it's going to be just me. I feel like I'm dressed for a Finnish winter, not an Australian spring/summer. It's weird, I've not really had the chance to get lonely. Obviously I've been missing Lou, but because I've been so busy and staying with my brother and Rani, I've occupied myself. Whereas today, or this afternoon, I've predominantly been on my own, and now I'm coming out to dinner on my own, and it's actually quite lonely, quite sad. Anyway, let's go and find somewhere to eat. There are so many places on this street alone, it's a little bit of an overload. Well, that was really good. Grilled, the place was called. It's a franchise over here in Australia. So really good. I've noticed that Australians really like white cars. Oh, that's silver. White. I mean, I've come down here to pick up some water, and I am gonna jump on the computer and start the R8 GT edit. It's been relatively productive for me. I feel like I've done a fair amount, moving out my brother's, going and filming a whole video around the iX2, lots and lots of editing, and just settling in to my hotel room. Take it easy and see you tomorrow.